Namaste and welcome back. Alright, so in this video we're going to be looking at the true meaning of yoga. Now, you see, the problem is that these days when people think of yoga, they think of the physical aspects. Yoga, especially in the Western world, it's become this thing that you go to, like a gym class once a week, to stretch and connect to yourself. You've probably heard of yoga in the form of Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Bikram yoga, hot yoga, and there's been a lot of innovations too. You have things like nude yoga, beer yoga, Vino Vinyasa. So this is not what yoga actually is, okay? First of all, the physical aspects of yoga that come from Hatha Yoga, these were created only to prepare the body to be able to sit, for long periods of meditation, to make it fit enough, to make it stable enough to sit for long periods of meditation. That's all. And it came years and years, centuries and centuries later. It's like how Shaolin monks practice martial arts. A lot of people don't know this, but the reason they practice martial arts is to make the body fit enough, again, to sit for long periods of meditation. Meditation is a gateway to self-realization, and that's what yoga is. Yoga is the science of self-realization. Now, there's a lot of different parts. If you look at the Bhagavad Gita, for example, you have Karma Yoga, which is the path of good actions. You have Bhakti Yoga, which is the path of devotion. You have Jnana Yoga, which is the path of wisdom. And you have Raja Yoga, which is a path of meditation. Now, what was happening in India about 2,000 or 3,000 years ago is that there's so many different branches of these different styles of yoga that it was all getting a bit scattered and confusing, to say the least. Okay, so what was needed was they needed a bit of structure to give a layperson, basically anybody that wants to attain divinity or realize the true self or realize the true nature, anybody that wants to do this, needed to be able to have a really simple step-by-step methodology that if they follow, the results would be guaranteed, essentially, because moksha or liberation is the highest goal of human life. So for that, there needs to be a really simple step-by-step way of getting there, okay? And this is where the great sage Patanjali comes in. It's said that, around 2,000 or 3,000 years ago is when he expounded the infamous Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is a classical text on, what traditional yoga is. And, Patanjali is he's a very mystical character because there's arguments that it wasn't just one person, that it was many sages that did that work, because the magnitude of his work was just incredible. It wasn't just yoga, he was into Ayurveda as well, he was into grammar as well. He's given us so much knowledge that people thought that it wasn't just one person. So the classical texts on yoga are the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and what that book is, it's a set of 196 sutras. Each sutra is basically, a statement, but it's like a formula. It contains an ocean of wisdom in each and every one, okay? And it's divided into 4 chapters: Samadhipad, Sadhanapad, Vibhutipad, and Kaivalyapad. So what these chapters are, the first one, Samadhipad, talks about enlightenment, right? So this is where he motivates you to walk on this path, tells you what enlightenment is all about. And then the second chapter, Sadhanapad, talks about the practice and actually how to get there. Then in the third chapter, which is really, really interesting and really exciting, Vibhutipad, is where he talks about the yogic powers that one attains when they walk that path. And he also emphasizes that those powers, all the way from intuition to the power of invisibility, for example, are just distractions along the way. and our focus should remain on the path and not get distracted by these powers and not misuse them especially. And the fourth chapter, he talks about moksha, or liberation, and the various states of mind that the human condition basically goes through to attain that final state. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because what we are interested in is the second chapter, sadhana, which is a practice, which is the only thing that we can control and what we need to do basically. And in this, he lays down something that you may have heard of before, the original Ashtanga Yoga, which is the 8-limbed system, or the 8 limbs of yoga basically. And these 8 limbs are essentially a really simple, structured, step-by-step process that anyone from any religion, caste, creed, color can follow and attain divinity, attain that oneness with the universe. And these 8 limbs are so important, and the next 3 videos I've basically dug deeper into what they are. But just to give you a brief highlight, they deal with our conduct with ourselves and our conduct in the world, the yams and the niyams, okay? Because you see, the way that we conduct ourselves has a huge impact on our stability of mind. If we're doing things like stealing, lying, cheating, we're not going to be able to stabilize the mind, right? It's all about stillness of mind. So the first thing, the first steps of yoga are just conducting yourself in the right manner so you can achieve stillness of mind. Then come the next 3 limbs, which are asana, pranayama, and pratyahara. And these deal with basically preparing the body, preparing the mind, purifying ourselves to be able to have the calmness to go inward and to look inward. And then the last 3, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, deal with meditation. So you see, even in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and the 8-limb system, the entire focus is building up to meditation, because meditation is the gateway to self-realization, and without meditation there is no yoga. So now, I hope with that explanation you have a better understanding of what yoga actually is in terms of the bigger picture. It's an all-encompassing science of self-realization. And now let us dig deeper into the 8 limbs of yoga, because that's what this entire course and the practices that we're going to be looking at are actually founded upon. So for that, I will see you in the next video. Namaste.